Hey, welcome to Mimsy's Garden and episode of Mimsy in the Kitchen. And today we're going to be canning store-bought carrots. And the reason I'm doing so many things on store-bought items is because one of the main things that is said to me about canning is, well, I don't have a garden, or I can't grow a garden because of where I live. Well, but you can still can and preserve, and so there's a lot of intimidation out there about that. And I'm going to show you another item, and I told you the carrots today, that's something that you can that's store-bought. I can carrots, I can potatoes, and dry beans, things that come from the store can be canned. You can even do your own salsas and tomatoes, things that you buy at the store. It doesn't have to be that you have to grow your own garden. Now, I will say, I would advise you to try to find organic if you can. But if you can't and you need food storage, and we all do, because the prices are going to go crazy, can what you can get your hands on and what you can afford to do. That way you have something, which is better than nothing, right? Organic carrots that are store-bought. I was totally unable to grow carrots. I got a few little naughty looking things. Tried it a couple times and I'm just not successful. I'm going to give it one more try this fall. But I have to keep carrots on the shelf. I need them for Mom, for side dishes, and also for soup starters. I'll do organic celery with organic carrots. Now, I saved her a couple raw ones. She likes a raw one here and there. But all I'm doing to prepare them is peeling them, scrubbing them down, and then I'm going to slice them up. We'll pack them in the jars and put them in the canner. You can cut the carrots any way you choose. Mom likes the round slices, or you can cube them, or you can do them in small sticks. It doesn't matter. I do a little of all of it. I'm even using my gadget to chop some of them. Gives you a rough chop, kind of larger pieces. This larger size grate is what I was using for the rough chop for, just throwing in with roast or something like that last minute, or the sticks. And then I'm moving to the smaller grate. I'm going to use these cut up smaller for soup starters. This is the smaller grate, and I just lay my carrots on there and then, pound it down, and then this is what you're getting, is smaller diced cubes, and it's awesome for soup starters and things. I like to take the carrots and celery together and can them in chicken bone broth, and then I've got an instant soup starter, and it just makes life so easy, because then you just cut up a few onions or take some that you've already chopped and frozen and put in there, and you've got a great soup base. As you can see, I've chopped 6 pint jars of carrots in various ways. Not very uniform. I'm not worried about all that. And I've got my supplies here. I've got my pink Himalayan salt, my clean but cold rings, lids, jars, and filtered water. So I'm going to add my salt. And I like to add a ½ teaspoon per jar. So we're going to do that. And I'm holding the camera at this very moment, so it might be a little bit wiggly. And I apologize for that. But every time I try to get it set up, Mom rings her bell. So, as you can see, I'm just putting about ½ teaspoon in each jar. And I'll continue to do that till the jars are done, and then we'll fill with water. I'm filling to about an inch of headspace. That one I got a little bit extra in, so I will remove some of that. Sorry for the wiggling. Told you I was holding the camera right now. I will put it on the stand in a little bit. Okay, so now we have our water in and our salt. And we just need to debubble some. And I lost a little piece of carrot. That's okay. One of the dogs will enjoy having that as a treat. But I just debubble. It's a little bit harder to do with the sticks, because I mean they just get crammed in, but I will bump the jar when both hands are free and kind of knock the bubbles to the top. All right, and you know the drill. You get it debubbled, and then you take your vinegar sprayed cloth and you wipe your rims super well. Make sure there's nothing on them. And the only reason I'm doing just 6 right now, because you see I've got more carrots, is because I had pulled some Oriental yard-long green beans out of the garden this morning and decided to go ahead, and I had 2 quarts worth, and so I'm putting those in there. And I'll get to these other carrots later. But you just do your lids and your rings, and you do those finger tight. And place them in the canner. Okay, so it's in the canner. Everything's cold. Nothing's been turned on. And I will turn my temperature on to get my water going. I'm going to put my lid on there and bring it up to pressure together. An important thing you need to note: by following USDA recommendations or the ball canning book, your green beans have a different time than your carrots. Your carrots need to go a little bit longer. So whatever you're canning in the canner, you go with the longest time. Okay? So, now then, here's another note. If these were in pint jars, like the carrots, the time difference would be a little less for the green beans and more for the carrots, so you'd go with the carrots. These are quart jars. That shifts the time too. So you have to pay attention to what you have in the canner to know the exact time that you need to follow that is recommended. And you also need to know how many pounds of pressure for your elevation. So always consult with the USDA food preservation guidelines or the ball canning guidelines. This is the complete book of home preserving by Ball. This is the one I refer to a lot. So for my canning of the carrots and the Oriental yard-long beans being raw packed, my time, because of the quart jars, is going to be 30 minutes. Once it comes to pressure and it's blown off its steam for 10 minutes, and then once the jiggler starts, it'll be set at 30 minutes. So not very long at all to can carrots. If you're just doing pint jars, where I'm at, it's like 20 or 25 minutes. Not long at all. So I like canning carrots. Okay, so we're coming up to pressure. We're going to be adding the jiggler in just a few moments, and then we'll get her done. It's spinning, so I'm going to cut my temperature down and let it go for its allotted time. Okay, I've got mine set. I've got my temperature cut down, and the reason I cut my temperature down is, if you can tell, I'm on a glass top stove, and that's another concern people have. My best advice is for a glass top not to use the wonderful coveted All-American canners, because they are so heavy. but also find one that has a flat bottom, not concave. Concave bottom pot can cause I'm gonna say explosion of glass. It can crack your glass. So this is just a General Presto canner, and it is flat bottomed, so I'm comfortable myself doing it on the glass stove. I wish I had gas. But when we were building this house a couple years ago, we were in a big hurry, and I was not thinking things all the way through. Terry was injured at the time, and 4 months he spent in a recliner, unable to do anything. A tree had fallen through our mobile home. We had moved into the rent house next door, and we were in the process of trying to build, and so I was just doing the best I could, the fastest I could, but I did not think things through. If I had, the kitchen layout would have been a little different, and there would have been more gas appliances. Just saying. Okay. Jars are out of the canner, and they're going to cool for 24 hours, and then we'll take the rings off, label them, wipe them down, and put them on the shelf. So you can can things that you buy at the grocery store, and you don't have to be intimidated just because you don't have a garden. And you can different items. You could can 3 or 4 different items if you wanted to. Ping. That's a great sound.